Hello guys, this is Russian Thomas Fan 2010 here, and today I decided to make new kinds of videos. The different kinds of videos. These are, if you want to know about me, um, the little you know about me is that you didn't know who I am, but you know that and there's little facts about me, like, for example, like, la I love trains and I'm from Russia. That's all. And for my soft sign steam locomotive icon, that's not all. It's little of that. So why not to make the videos about me? So these kinds of videos are going to be called the stories about my biography. These series are going to be named Stories About My Biography. Now it's story time. Hello guys, this is Russian Thomas Fan 2010, and I wanted to talk about my the cartoons that I grew up with. If you remember the previous video, the link in a description. Watch it. These are about my favorite cartoons. But in this video, I am going to talk about the cartoons that I grew up with as a child. Cartoons. These are the films that kids watch that are inspired by books or video games or anything that is created by the mind, by the imagination. Like the talking trains and anthropomorphic animals who run faster. So apparently, the cartoons are just the animated imagination of yours. I told you that. But mostly, I I'm a huge fan of this blue train and the people that created him. So, I grew up in this house with my family, mom, dad, my brothers, Misha and Nikita. So, I had an old TV, but not an old, but it's from the early 2010s. That's basically Samsung TV. In the late 2010s, we bought new TV to replace the old one. And every day after school, I watch Thomas the Tank Engine on TV. But I am going crazy watching this one for this. And maybe I watched it on Carousel and Jim Jam, and sometimes on the internet. So I watched Thomas the Tank Engine in late 2010s. And I still remember how I watched. Even I collected merch. But the first merch that I've got is Collectible Railway Gordon. So I bought this one. It is just my childish stupidity. And also, when I saw that the engines aren't looking realistic, so I used plasticine to make them look better. And this is my first method of making customs. So I didn't have any of the paints. I only got the gouache paints. And uh, and also I used the plasticine. And my mom found some footage of my train videos that I made.
О, я застрял, помогите, спасите. Я застрял в замке. Спасите, помогите. Меня задул сюда ветер.
It's lazy for me to translate it, but I'm too little and I couldn't understand English. But I did this video. This is the only video that I found. So it was cringy and so my child memories that this engine I still have. So I bought more and got from New Year and birthday as a gifts. And also I read the Railway series ever since I was 10 years old. But I read Railway series in Russian language. If you want to see the video, the link in the description. And also, I love another TV show about trains. This is Chuggington. Chuggington is one of my first show that I watched as a kid. And this is before I loved Thomas. But I never heard of these new episodes. But I have seen the channel and the new episodes with AI pictures right now. What the fudge? So yeah, I grew up with the early episodes of Chuggington and not the new one. I didn't heard of these new ones, but maybe I'll try Russian dub of them. They doesn't have Russian dub. I watched it on English only, and I've heard that these new episodes have a French dub. And maybe the new characters that were replaced, Kali and Skylar. Maybe those are Ty and Rosa. These new characters, I don't like them. I grew up with Callie and Skylar, and not with Ty and Rosa. Maybe this show I watched as a kid, and maybe I have a friend from Azerbaijan, and his name is Eldar Nayafov. Maybe if you watch his video, please sure to subscribe. And so Chuggington I watched on TV. After maybe I watched it everywhere on the internet and the TV in the early 2010s and the mid 2010s that I had to think. It is before I liked Thomas and Friends, but in 2015, maybe Chuggington is no longer on Russian TV. But sadly, I'm going to miss this show because it's been made into the new series. And so in 2021, the reboot is made. I never heard of this reboot. I was 11 years old and I watched it on YouTube. But maybe I'm going to dub this one. If you want me, click a like and subscribe. So I rewatched Chuggington and my opinion on it is I think that's great, I think, but I'll make it that way since I'm a Thomas fan and I'm a fan of Thomas the Tank Engine, so ri- I support both Chuggington and Thomas in their rivalry. Maybe this is kinda good, and they've got similar characters, like Spencer is similar to Alwyn since they are the A4s. And the similar character is another. It's like in Chuggington they have a pirate character named Skipper, and in Thomas and Friends they have a pirate character too. His name is Salty, but they all different and similar to some ways. And maybe there's something like that. Anything is similar like that. And I give it this show is 5 out of 10. But not a 5 out of 10, but I'll give it uh a, a 7 out of 10. And also, a favorite of family's animated movie is Inside Out. So, my honest opinion on the Inside Out is kinda good. I imagined how are my emotions inside me and how my good memories on the infinite storage going on the infinite storage my memories. I imagined how they look like. I wonder. So uh, this film is a great one, but I think it has something that makes me happy. But my favorite character from this show is Joy, because it's yellow, because I like yellow, and it represents joy, sun, and happiness. And also, another cartoons that I also watched in my childhood are the Soviet and modern Russian cartoons, because it is the cartoons that Russians made, and this and one of my favorites. Let me say to you, Смешарики, Домовенок Кузя, and Остров сокровищ, Алиса в стране чудес, Приключения капитана Врунгеля и так далее. These are my favorite Russian cartoons and Soviet. And maybe I'm a little fan of some other cartoons, but I'm a little fan of some other cartoons that I enjoyed in my childhood. Maybe like maybe my mom's favorite Russian cartoon is Простоквашино. It is her favorite. Yes. And maybe she sometimes watches the new series. And my honest opinion on Простоквашино, it is it is mid, but I enjoying it. Okay, but this show is about a boy who finds a cat and be friends with him, and had been gone to the village from his parents, and he finds a dog. who is also befriends them. And also they started having a dairy business, and they met a postman Pechkin. And maybe this cartoon is, but my honest opinion on this cartoon, it might be very good. And some of the Russian cartoons, and my honest opinion on Russian cartoons is pretty mid. But I like Смешарики the most. It is one of my favorites. And don't forget that I watched another Russian cartoon in my childhood. This is Masha and the Bear. So, the opinion on this cartoon. I watched it as a child. I watched the early series of them. And I think, but I like this cartoon. It may be as good as Thomas the Tank Engine, but I never seen the episodes in here, and I'm not a fan of these cartoons, so I give this cartoon like another. So I watched this cartoon on TV every time with my brother Nikita and also Misha. Alright, guys, since I talked about my early cartoons that I watched in 2010s, now let's move on to the cartoons that I watched in 2020s. These are literally when I was 10 or 13 years old. I watched some. And first we start off with Sonic the Hedgehog movie. So in my opinion, Sonic the Hedgehog movie, I also liked this movie because my parents showed me. And I'll tell you a little story. Once upon a time, in Russian house there lived a little fat Russian boy. When he had been in his room, so he ran down the stairs to see what parents are doing. So he found this. The parents are watching the movie, and he joined to watch it. After watching this movie, the boy ran to the room and went to sleep, and this blue hedgehog in his dreams. The end. So this is how, and that's how I liked Sonic the Hedgehog, and how I started liking him. So it started all in 2020 in this story. And also I also found Mario, and maybe I watched some series of Mario too. The Adventures of Super Mario Bros. 3. So I watched the episodes of this series, and I told you I also when I liked Sonic, I also discovered that there's another video game character, Mario. And maybe I watched the series of Super Mario Bros. The Adventures of Super Mario Bros. 3. And I didn't forget anything from it, but something. But I liked the episodes. Maybe I'll do a stream about rewatching these ones. but only in English. And in Russian dub, I loved it and I watched it. And I've heard in this series some familiar voices of Thomas and Friends characters in Russian dub. Maybe they're the actors who dubbed both Thomas and Friends and Super Mario Bros. 3. Like, for example, Princess Toadstool is sounding like Ashima in Super Mario Bros. 3. So, I had never heard of the Super Mario World series, and I didn't see this one yet. Maybe but later I've watched any of these episodes of Super Mario World. But I'm going to rewatch Super Mario Bros. 3. Maybe I'll make a stream about it. And I watched it after school, maybe in 2021 and 2020. And also, maybe this is going to be another video that I'm going to make. So, I give this show a 10 out of 10. But I like it. But I don't know the exact reaction. Maybe I'll watch it later. And maybe if you want to see the stream, please subscribe and click a like. Guys, thank you for watching this video. And don't forget to subscribe. And please. And I'm going to make these videos similar in this series of my stories. So I'll see you in the next video. До свидания and goodbye.